tests and the unisons are pure and the interval isn't, then you may have thought your intervals were the same speed, your test intervals, but they're not. And that's the auditory illusion. So you go back and you listen and you choose which one is faster. And you'll hear it. You'll hear it right away. You didn't hear it before because you weren't listening for it.
Now,
Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know how much better I can get at this. So I'm just going to stop trying, trying to convince people and just do my thing, and hopefully people pick it up and want to know more.
yeah. Well, that's interesting what you shared about, Kent at Steinway or different people. There's patterns too to people being willing to listen to different ideas or new ideas or ideas that not everybody's talking about or one or two people are talking about. And I have seen an interesting pattern, which is kind of counterintuitive, that sometimes the folks that are more established or kind of have reached a certain level of expertise or notoriety or something, that's actually more willing to like be open to a new idea. You would think maybe
Yeah.
because they're established and they've got their thing and they do their own thing and it seems like they figured it out, right? They might be more actually willing to say, you know what, I don't even know if I figured out. What do you got to say? Let me hear. What is it? And then maybe some of the more, sort of if you're a beginner or you're new to it, or I'm a little resistant to this is what I heard and I don't want to hear something new. But yeah, it sounds like maybe that's happened with you as well.
Yeah. Speaking with people who are at a high level, there's the two kinds, the kinds that are interested in learning something new, no matter what it is. And then the others who are just not, and that's valid too, because for them whatever they're doing is working for them. It's not broken, so why fix it? They
Mhm.
probably have a lot of other things they're trying to do, so I understand.
I've got a question. Let me see here. I feel like there's some other things. Well, first of all, Joshua Martell put the link to Ocean Audio in the chat. So thanks, Josh. And Walter was asking where can you find that? If you just scroll up in the chat, that link is in there. And I can just go ahead and put that one more time because some people, if you join late, you can't see those older messages. Um, and then Walter just asked a question. So Walter said he's tuning pianos with the Piano Meter app, which I may have heard of, but I don't know much about. And it takes
Yeah.
4 hours approximately, sometime even 5 hours. What do you have to say about improving the time it could take someone? He said he's used the techniques that you've recommended to set the tools always aligned with the string and not put the pins and so on and so forth. Anyways, any advice for this improving the speed of tuning?
Yeah, the biggest thing is priorities. So we have a lot of different priorities when you're tuning, and I like to emphasize musical intervals. So progressive intervals, not musical. Nobody's going to play your piano and say, "Oh, these thirds are not progressing." Maybe another technician, but no person playing as a musician. But they will notice unisons. So if you're using piano meter, I would say definitely like do not spend too much time trying to get those lights to be still, and you will immediately improve your time. Spend the time getting clean unisons that are stable. And that's the bread and butter right there. That's how you're going to see huge improvement in how people respond to your tunings and what they think your tunings are, and you'll have less people firing you or not calling you back if you have clean, stable unisons.
Thanks for that. What um what do you think what do you think about the best ways that you've discovered and going back to talking about like your journey here, if you could go back to when you first started kind of trying to spread the word and be doing instruction things like that, are the things that you've learned that you could take away and say, oh, I would do it differently if I go back, or are there just frustrations that haven't ended? What's been your learning process? Yeah.
I don't think I could have learned any faster.
Sure.
that what I'm doing. Like I said, the introduction of the bandpass filter opened my ears to really hear what was there and then confirm. That's really I can't probably in terms of the school. Even now, I really need, I'm convinced, like, because I said, I don't know how much better I can get at this thing. I think I need to network with someone else. I need a partner, someone who understands that kind of side of things, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I think
So, yeah,
that's an interesting observation. I do think it often helps. I've experimented with, partnering with folks over the past several years in various domains, and it's always a little tenuous to start a partnership with someone around something that's important to you, but the experimentation on my end, I find it valuable.
that's good.
Um, what How do you think about the future of the piano industry, piano technology, methodologies, and things like that? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I think that pianos in general have sort of leveled out in terms of like the sales. We've gone through a really serious drop in sales in the last 30 years with the internet and rock music and the electric guitar. But I think it's leveled off right now. And what I do believe, and I think we talked about this before, is that anybody getting into this business, they can't do it the way they used to do it. They can't just have a career tuning pianos for uh, you know, kids, who parents aren't musicians and they hire the piano tuner to come in tune the piano. And they don't have to do a great job and they will be appreciated and they will make money. That's not going to be the case anymore because now a lot of the customers that you're going to have to please are going to be professional musicians because they're the ones who are still playing the acoustic piano and they will not give it up. So, and they can hear if your unisons are out even a little bit, and they'll be very, critical, and they will fire you. You won't get called back if your unisons aren't clean. For some of them, maybe some others don't care as much. I don't know, but
Um,
definitely, yeah.
yeah, I'm also curious too. What's your day-to-day like, these days? Are you out there tuning? Are you mostly focusing on the educational stuff? Do you do technical work like other things like regulation, voicing?
Mm.
What's your day-to-day like?
Yeah, I used to do all of that stuff, but now I have a technician in Montreal who takes care of my customers there, and then I'm in Prince Edward Island, and it's a small island, but we have three technicians here, and so I tune on Wednesdays, 1 day a week, and the rest of the day I'm giving classes, live one-on-one classes, and I'm trying to get away from that because I find myself repeating myself a lot, and some people don't really want to do that. They don't want to have to be somewhere at a specific time. So I'm working on like a course where I give you feedback by measuring your tunings the way we've been talking, but you don't have to be in a class for that. You just send me the recordings, I send them back to you and gives you the insight into where you can improve. So that's what I'm doing right now. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I work on the school.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Which is good
Um,
too because I'm always online. People ask me questions, I can answer them right away. Yeah.
right. Um, what do you think of in terms of the long-term vision of what you're up to, in terms of, next 3 to 5 years or whatever? What are you aiming for?
Well, I'm actually in a startup with another guy, and we're trying to figure out a way to train technicians to be able to do exactly what we were just talking about, tuning clean, stable unisons. And I'm very excited about that because coupled with that, we're going to start like maybe a network of piano technicians to be able to service pianos in a certain area. And coupled with a senior technician who can help out with things like broken strings or regulation or broken hammers. What this would allow is for these piano technicians to get work right away, and I know you value that. And um, what I'm really excited about is that we would then be a school that that can provide everything a student might want, not just education, but employment.
Yeah,
That's what yeah. I'm hoping
I
we can
like
do
it.
that. Yeah.
I like it. That sounds cool. Um, you know, so you're talking about maybe helping to foster the growth of technicians and sort of provide them with a sort of a safety net of how to get
Mm.
the work out there. Outside of that, what advice do you give the folks that, let's say I just signed up today to start learning to tune, or I just graduated from North Bennett, or I don't know. What advice do you give people in terms of their professional development, their educational development, the style that they approach tuning and other methods with?
I think feedback is the most important. You can't improve if you don't have good feedback. Learn how to use the bandpass filter. Also, try to network with other technicians and always take the high ground. I know that it's tempting to come to a piano that's been tuned by somebody else recently and criticize it if it doesn't sound good, but we really don't know this whole story. Like I've had people, I'll come to a piano and I'll tune it and they'll say, "Oh, it sounds so much better than the last guy who tuned it." And then I'll ask a few questions and I find out that the last guy did a pitch raise. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair for them to make that judgment. And we as piano technicians should definitely not be. Take the high ground, and always be open and not there's always enough work for everybody. Don't be worried about competition. There's always enough work for everyone. There's always some kind of work. Even if somebody doesn't want to do concert level tunings, that there is that business for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a delicate territory what you just mentioned. I often find I'm actually suspicious in any trade when somebody shows up and like, oh man, the last guy you had, what a hack, and I'm just like, do you really need to do that? What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the one thing that I've embraced since I've been doing education, and especially doing globally reaching education, right? Is that it's
We're
really
still
hard.
on. My, I have to tell you, my 17-year-old daughter and 16-year-old son are having a party tonight,
Oh,
and they are freaking out. Like they're like they want the house to be just so. And the last time we had a party, we let them have a party. It was like packed with teenagers.
okay.
So it's very the place is hopping today.
All right. Good luck with that.
Oh
Sounds
no,
like a
I'm not going to
fun
be
and
here.
also a nightmare at the same time.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Kathy doesn't know this yet, but I'm saying we should go out. We should go on a date or something. This is. I don't want to be around.
Nice.
She does though. She likes the young kids. Yeah, I do too, but yeah, not 30 of them at
Yeah, I
once.
hear that. I hear that. Um, I was saying, yeah, doing the education globally too, right? I mean, it's easy to criticize folks for what level they're at or what they're bringing to the table, but you don't always know what resources they've had, up
Yeah,
to that point. So I found it interesting to, especially when I was in Peru, right? And I would meet a guy who was a piano technician, and he had like no idea of 95% of various things that I had been exposed to educationally, especially if you would compare that with New York City. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Here's a place
yeah,
where there's a lot of information flowing and, professionals at a high level and things like that. And all these people are just trying to do their best. They're trying to
yeah,
do their job with the resources they have. So, taking it from approach of wow, you're probably doing really great with the resources you have. How can we give you more resources? How can we, help you feel more confident? Because, it's easy to, when you don't have the resources, to not have the confidence, not know how to approach it. You have to find a way to still operate as a professional, but it's nerve-wracking, when you don't
yeah.
have all the resources, educational resources. And so it's just, make sure everybody has as much information as they can so they can approach things confidently, do a good job, spread the word. Nice. Nancy Salmon. I haven't heard this one. That's good. The more dirt you throw around, the more ground you lose. I like that one.
Mm.
Um, all right. Well, we got about 5 minutes left. If there are one or two questions or comments, we could take them, but we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. We'll start to walk it
Yeah,
off.
sure. Yeah.
Tell people if they want to follow what you're doing, keep up with it. Where should they go? What should they do? Websites, emails, social media. What works for you in that domain?
I have a couple of areas where you can learn what we're doing. There's the website howtotunepianos.com. There's a lot of free stuff there. The International Piano Technicians School.com has all the units that students will work through. That's you don't have to join. You can just go and click on the units and see them. The IPTS.online website has more information. It looks a bit better. It's my newer website. I have the How to Tune Pianos for Beginners public Facebook group. Also, YouTube. I have How to Tune Pianos YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff there as well.
Great.
I'm around there. Yeah. So
If people only chose one link or one place to go, what would be the top one to check out?
probably howtotunepianos.com because it
Perfect.
has a lot of free stuff. I also have I can put some links to some classes that I have on the Ocean Audio and how to use it. You think that would be interesting? Here's class
For sure.
one. And that just shows how to use it, so I think I'll just send you the link. I don't know how to send it to everybody.
Okay. If you send it to me, I'll make sure it spreads to everyone. In the meantime, Walter came back in with a question. So if you have Unison's very clean, he's going to go up string by string with the app that he mentioned before, and that's why it takes so much time. Is this correct in the way in which
No,
we should do it? Yeah. What do you
no,
think?
no, no. You have to train your ear to hear the words. Meow, Maori. These are not clean unisons. And you can tune with the ETD and get the lights to stop, and then you play it, and it's still doing it.
Hmm.
So you want it to be going ma or moo. It's the same vowel sound, just getting quieter. That's a clean unison.
Perfect. That's a great description. Appreciate it. We're just about out of time here, so I'm going to do our outro and we'll say goodbye. It's
Great.
definitely been a pleasure to have you here today.
It's been an
Um,
honor, and thank you very much for asking me to join you.
yeah, of course. So we have reached the end of another musical journey here at Piano Tech Radio Hour. Thanks, of course, to Mark Cerisano for joining us today. As always, we are brought to you by Piano Technicians Master Classes, cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. For those of you that joined us today by signing up for this session individually, make your life convenient. Subscribe to Piano Tech Radio Hour, just $16 a month. Get the recording of today's session in our member area, automatic registration for each week's new session. You could sign up for Piano Tech Radio Hour at bit.ly/join PTRH. That's bit.ly/join PTRH. And then just a reminder of some other things to check out. Make sure you go to Piano Technicians Masterclass.substack.com and you can see some of the blog articles we're putting out. That will also help get you educated on what kind of content we have in our archives in our member area, give you a taste of the knowledge contained. Hopefully you'll walk away with something useful either way. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We get quite a bit of activity on Facebook, but also LinkedIn and then a little bit on Instagram as well. It'd be great to have your support there. And then also look out for this masterclass with Jason Castle. You'll see links for it in our email. I'll put some links out there in the chat. He's going to talk about harpsichords and how to approach those mysterious beasts with professionalism and confidence. Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining in the audience, and we'll
Thanks,
see you again
everyone.
next time. All right,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.